Distraught, she wondered why the therapeutic concept wasn't working. He replied, "You're talking about 40 years of repressed anger." This is what she wrote next. "And then, in an instant, I started to cry. Not little tears, not sad, quiet, oh my back hurts so much tears, but the deepest, hardest tears I've ever cried. Out of control tears, anger, rage, desperate tears." I'm going to read to you today from Dr. Sarno's The Mindbody Prescription. My name is Amari Love. It's my sincerest wish to help you on your recovery journey by sharing with you the tools and techniques that helped me recover from decades of chronic illness. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to read to you from the book The Mindbody Prescription, which is written by Dr. Sarno. My name is Amari Love. I'm a mind-body recovery coach and a writer. I recovered from more than 30 years of chronic illness, and now I guide others into their own healing journey. This book was instrumental in my recovery. It helped me make a huge leap forward, and I'm hoping that it might help you as well. Okay, let's get into it. We're in part 1 on the chapter called Pressure and Rage in the Unconscious. I believe that rage in the unconscious has 3 potential sources. 1. That which may have been generated in infancy and childhood and never dissipated. 2. That which results from self-imposed pressure, as in driven, perfectionistic, or goodist people. 3. That which is a reaction to the real pressures of everyday life. I find the analogy of a bank account helpful in describing this to patients. Deposits of anger are made not only during childhood, but throughout a person's life. Because there are no withdrawals from this account, the anger accumulates. Thus, anger becomes rage. When it reaches a critical level and threatens to erupt into consciousness, the brain creates pain or some other physical symptom as a distraction to prevent a violent emotional explosion. The following case history is a graphic and dramatic demonstration of this process. Only a small proportion of patients with TMS have histories as severe and upsetting as this one. However, I use this patient's experience because it makes the relationship between pain and repressed feelings crystal clear. So, a trigger warning. Please note that this story that is contained in the next part that I'm going to read is very triggering, so you might like to skip ahead in this video. It contains materials around childhood abuse and sexual trauma. A letter from Helen. I had successfully treated Helen for lower back pain a number of months prior to the event described in her letter. When Helen was 47, she remembered being sexually abused by her father as a child and teenager. She decided to join a support group for adult women, survivors of incest. She decided to join a support group for adult women survivors of incest. The day of the first meeting, her back began to hurt, but having been through my program, she reassured herself that she knew the psychological reason for the pain and was not concerned. Her own words describe best what happened next. So this is Helen. I went to the meeting, met the 6 other women, trying to keep kind of under control and not be totally emotional and miserable with people I had barely met. I wanted to see if this kind of group was really right for me. I found myself, in spite of trying to keep some distance, very much overwhelmed by the amount of pain and havoc wrought in these women's lives, as well as my own by the abuse. Over the next 48 hours, the pain gradually increased in severity to the point where she could not get out of bed. She was paralyzed with pain. She told her very supportive husband that she couldn't understand why she should have this pain when she understood its psychogenic purpose. Distraught, she wondered why the therapeutic concept wasn't working. He replied, "You're talking about 40 years of repressed anger." This is what she wrote next. And then, in an instant, I started to cry. Not little tears, not sad, quiet, oh my back hurts so much tears, but the deepest, hardest tears I've ever cried. Out of control tears, anger, rage, desperate tears. And I heard myself saying things like, "Please take care of me. I don't ever want to have to come out from under the covers. I'm so afraid. Please take care of me. Please don't hurt me. I want to cut my wrists. Please let me die. I have to run away. I feel sick." And on and on. I couldn't stop. And bless him, just held me. And as I cried and as I voiced these feelings, it was literally as if there was a channel, a pipeline from my back and out through my eyes. I felt the pain almost pour out as I cried. It was weird and strange and transfixing. I really knew that what I was feeling at that moment was what I felt as a child, when no one would or could take care of me. The scaredness, the grief, the loneliness, the shame, the horror. As I cried, I was that child again, and I recognized the feelings I have felt all my life, which I thought were crazy or at the very best, bizarre. Maybe I removed myself from my body and never even allowed myself to feel when I was young. But the feelings were there, and they poured over me and out of me. And this is Dr. Dr Sarno again. I am grateful to Helen, whose name has been changed, for allowing me to print parts of her letter. They illustrate perfectly the process behind TMS and equivalent physical reactions. Her story demonstrates these critical points. 1. Feelings generated in infancy and childhood permanently reside in the unconscious and may be responsible for psychological and physical symptoms throughout life. 2. Strong, painful, embarrassing and threatening feelings like rage, grief and shame are repressed in the unconscious. 3. Repressed emotions constantly strive to come to consciousness, that is, escape from the unconscious and become overt and consciously manifest. 4. The purpose of symptoms, physical or emotional, is to prevent repressed feelings from becoming conscious by diverting attention from the realm of the emotions to that of the physical. It is a strategy of avoidance. Helen's story illustrates all 4 points. In less than 2 days, her pain increased in severity despite her knowledge of its source. From her knowledge of TMS, she was aware that understanding what was being repressed would usually abort the pain. But in this case, it did not, because the powerful, painful feelings continued to come closer and closer to breaking through to consciousness. As they did, the pain increased in a desperate attempt to prevent the breakthrough. The feelings would not be denied expression, and when they exploded into consciousness, the pain disappeared. It no longer had a purpose. It had failed in its mission. In virtually every case, the brain's strategy does not fail. It succeeds in keeping the feelings repressed, and the pain persists. However, the psychotherapists who work with me relate that reactions like Helen's, though not as dramatic, occasionally occur in the course of effective therapy. As with Helen, the pain disappears immediately in consequence of the emotional experience. It would save a lot of time and trouble if all my patients could have such a breakthrough. Because they do not, and I do not know how to induce it, we must follow a more laborious procedure to banish the pain. The average patient with TMS does not harbour the same degree of rage, and therefore does not explode as Helen did. Great. Now you can choose to go on to the next video if you would like to, or you could give yourself a reward for doing this work today on your recovery. You do not need to take it all in at once. If you have a personality that's typical for people with chronic health conditions, you may be a high achiever, you may want to get to know everything all in one go. It's great to go steady, have small, repeated hits of this information. You don't need to overwhelm yourself, and you don't need to believe in it all at once. In this work, I like to draw your attention to personality type because you probably have achieved a lot in your life already, and here you are searching for an answer to something. So it makes sense that you have an expectation of finding the answer to what you seek. After all, in the past, you've always been an achiever, and in our society, that's a signal of success, and we do not give up, which would signal a type of failure that we really don't want. So stopping and slowing down and taking a step back can feel to us, or can seem like an idea for us, that is connected to somehow failing or giving up. And I want to share with you that that isn't the case at all. And we want your nervous system and brain to go into the rest or digest state. So even as you are here right now, you can start by taking one slow breath with me right now. If you can, I would recommend that you do something soothing, whether it's listen to music, spend some time in nature, or lying down and gently doing one of the restorative meditations I have made. I will link to them below, and I also have free healing resources for you on my website, which I will also link to. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for doing this. Take good care of yourself. If this video has helped you, please consider giving it a like, subscribing to the channel, and sharing with others who are also on the recovery path. This space is here to support you with practical tools, clear guidance,
and a steady reminder that you are not broken. You can find brain retraining tools, nervous system support, and free healing resources at amarilove.com. Please leave a like, and you can click on the screen now to see another video or a playlist to help with your healing journey. Take good care of yourself now.